I just had to wake up again. I don't know why, but my left ankle hurts. I mean, I already have problems with that ankle from years of rolling it during skateboarding. Never broke it, but when I went to a nurse, she told me basically that if I don't stop, I'll need surgery or I won't be able to walk. So I have, sometimes I'm fine. It's weird. And then other days I have just a limp. I can't walk straight. Or days like today, where my foot is just in pain. Watching the little videos of Joe and I. He he was like his family was like a second family to me. I grew up in just terrible environment. My mother's a hoarder, and so pretty much my weekends were spent in thrift stores. Never went to a family fun center or places like that. Like I hated it so much. I would just go to. I'd ask him to leave me at Toys R Us or Walmart or some place that had games to demo. And so I would just stand there for like 6 hours straight. And I was joking. And just play video games. That was my escape. But they never bought me any. Though when we went to these Goodwills, there was a whole series of their stores. Uh, she would spend like $200, $300 at each of them in one day. So she would spend thousands of dollars. Sometimes we'd be in these fucking stores for 8 hours straight. She would just keep going back through the store over and over again. She would already have walked through an aisle. She'd walk through the whole store, and then she would go back and fucking walk through the store again. Like, where's my soda? The fuck is my soda? I think I left it in the freezer. I'll use this one then. So my childhood was basically that. But we had something called Kids Day. And that was the day where I got to do whatever I wanted. It was once a year. Nobody played with me. Nobody spent time with me. My father was drugged into a fucking psychosis. And then I have a hoarder mother who periodically would just fill up any home or building that we were in. So Joe, he was the closest thing to a best friend I've ever had. But deep down, he just fucking hated me. But we had so much fun together, too. You know, I always forced the friendship. And I always knew he never actually, wanted me around. But I think, too, he knew how fucked up my life was. So he tolerated me at least, and we would just laugh for hours. Ironically, though, he really did not fucking like me. And the first time we met, we're downtown. Myself and my two other friends, who they knew him, and I'm wearing a Garfield shirt. It says "I love Girl Scout cookies," but I like I forget how I destroyed it. I don't think maybe it was a Sharpie or something, and I crossed out cookies, so that said I love Girl Scouts. and and he just fucking did not like me, whatsoever. Like, but his mother, bless her heart, his father, like, because like our bathroom was full, we could barely get to the toilet, uh, and I hated showering there, so they would let me take showers at their home because they knew, you know, I explained to them like, and they used to run a diner, and so they were just like, his mother's name was Jeannie. She, I would just sit in the kitchen with her sometimes. Like if Joe wasn't even home, I would just go over there and just hang out with her or her father, or his father. I would just hang out with them and sit in the kitchen with Jeannie and just talk. And she made the fucking amazing food. Gosh, she made good food. That's why she like kind of reminded me of my grandmother. And how she would just cook all day, every day. She was always in the kitchen, and I spent all my time on the farm with my grandmother. My grandfather died when I was 96, so about 6, I think, around there. And my grandmother died when I was 12. And I was just completely fucking fucked up from that. You know, like, I think about her every day. It's still just, like, because I have an eidetic memory, like, I feel the same thing, the same emotions that I felt during her funeral. I didn't cry until it was over. I was just in shock, like literal shock, you know, like trauma shock. And Jeannie sort of took over that role. I think she just sort of knew, or maybe she was lonely or something, or I don't know. They were just good people. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna go eat these people's food. It was more like, here you go. She loved cooking for people, and she cooked well. That's why she worked. They have this old folks' home, is what we called them, where it's caregiving, and she was a caregiver. So I think that's why. Woman was practically a fucking saint. Like, miss her. I didn't know Mark died. I would have gone to his funeral. I would have driven right back home. But Mark passed away. That was his father's name, Joe's father. And I would just go and, like, they let me just walk in, you know? They even told me, just walk in. You're fine. I go, and is Joe here? No. Okay. So I go lay on the couch and watch TV with him. He's drinking wild turkey. He always had a cup of whiskey late at night. And Junior would be like, "You only get one." Like, all right. He was a very stonewalled man. Uh, simple, straight to the point. But he loved it. Just like that, I would just like come in, and if Joe wasn't there, I'd just lay on the couch and watch TV with him, just to get out of my house, or because I wanted to hang out with him. And they were like my second family. Honestly, they were more of a family than my family. Not necessarily my parents, they're fucked up. They have their issues, but like the rest of my family ostracized me. I was the black sheep. Is what that term euphemism is, black goat or whatever, black sheep. They ostracized me. No idea why. They're just shitty people, terrible people. Last time I talked to them, they tried to keep in touch a little bit, but I just got to the point where it was just like, you're not my family. Don't ever fucking talk to me again. Kicking us out of holidays, using me as an excuse. I'm a fucking child. Like, I like Pokemon. Like, that's one thing too. Like, they hated me because I liked Pokemon. And I'm not joking. They would set up dates to go visit my grandmother in Arkansas, and she told me that they specifically did not want to be there when we were there because of me. Not my fucked up father, my fucked up mother, because of me. I don't even know how I am keeping my life together a little bit. I can't function in society though. I can't keep jobs. I get so frustrated. I'm way too honest to people. I and I'm on the spectrum of autism, though I hide it exceptionally well. I've learned to overcome all the traits and issues. But like, if I don't want to do something, I will just walk away. I will just leave. I won't even acknowledge your existence. Like, I parked. They blocked off the road to the liquor store, and they were doing work halfway down the road, and so my brain doesn't even recognize. They got this like security guy there. They got this big sign, and he just runs up. Do you live here? Do you live here? And then I just glare at him. I don't even say anything. Like, my brain doesn't even recognize that is a person, and that this situation is supposed to be something. And he calls his manager, and then I talk to him for a while. And I try to explain to him that, like, the winter was really rough. I come here every day. I get my sake, which now is $4 overpriced, so I can't get sake anymore. And that, like, I live in the mountains, and winter was rough, and like, it hardens you. Like, you have no idea how rough this winter was on me. Not only is it rough, like, I'm alone the whole time. I'm cold the whole time. I don't have water. I'm dehydrating, and I've been through a lot of shit. And I don't want to talk to you. But, I told him that I respect his job and this and that, and we just talked. And he gave me a fist bump, said, "You're fine." They threatened to call the cops on me. I was like, "You're going to try to ruin my life? I wouldn't do that to you." And, Nebraskans, like, we fight, we argue, we laugh together, we come together, we're very dynamic. All these kids that grew up fighting, eventually we became friends. We earned each other's respect. We didn't hold grudges. Nobody held grudges. You might not like somebody, but one night at a party, you can make them laugh. Like, it's like it's not like, oh, I don't like him, so I can't laugh at something he says or does. You still don't like me, but I can make you laugh. We're not friends. We're not going to hang out in private. We're not going to take road trips together. But yet we can make each other laugh and fight. Sometimes we'll fight. We'll get emotional. Like, that's how we were. And friends and I, we would fight. One time, my friend Eric, who, I just love this kid, but he was colorblind. I don't even remember what the hell it was. Like, he was like making fun of me or something, and I called him a colorblind freak. And he just fucking attacks me. And we became really good friends. I always just loved that kid. But he had that pent up frustration from that. So I was naive. I didn't understand. And I asked him, I was like, "Do you see unique colors? Maybe we all do. Maybe every person sees a color their own way." Science or biology, with cones and rods and how those function could essentially mean that we each see colors our own unique way. And when I moved to town, I was at the library and using their computer, and this was like a week after I moved there. They, the three who had become my closest friends, see me and they say, "We heard that you know how to ride bikes and jump bikes." Because back home in the small town, we would build jumps and ramps and things. And then we had this very talented kid, just could ride a wheelie. He could ride and curve wheelies. He could do just anything. Not a very intelligent person, but very fucking talented and strong. His father was a goddamn badass. He could play drums, but he couldn't play to music. It was weird. He was an extremely talented drummer, but he couldn't play. If I was playing a melody or something, he had no idea how to keep time or even apply a beat to the music. It was really strange. But he was an exceptional drummer. Anyway, so they come and get me at the library. And there were these dirt jumps in this parking lot that they built. And they're pretty big. I mean, they're 4 feet off the ground. And my buddy, that kid, his name was Dylan. He raced dirt bikes growing up. So he knew how to handle these things. Me, I've never seen a jump that big before. And I go, and I'm like going way too fast. Hit up, and just fucking, I'm trying to, catch it down to get onto the landing. I went way too fast, and I hit my nose of my tire on the ground after like a 6 foot fall. Smack my face on the handlebars. Flip over and land on my back. They run up and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, that was fucking awesome. I'm just laughing on the ground. They just burst out laughing. They're like, that was awesome. That was a great crash. Every time we crashed, we'd always just laugh at each other. Honestly, as long as we skateboarded together, we got hurt far more than we landed tricks. It was really just about getting hurt. And so, Eric, we're at Joe's house and we're fighting. Well, Eric wanted to challenge me. I had beat him at everything until that point, and he knew this little trick where you sweep legs, and I didn't know that trick yet. I wasn't strong yet in my legs, and he sweeps me to the ground, and he's on top of me, fucking literally choking me, and he's choking me so hard that my entire throat is starting to collapse, and I just let him. Like, I don't tap out. And I knew he had some frustrations with me. I could tell, you know. That's why he was challenging me. It gave him a ton of confidence. And he's a father now, and, he has a really nice woman. And it's all because of that. Like, it links back to that. It gave him, you know, all this strength. And I was kind of hurt that he never invited me to his wedding, though. Okay, I was hurt. I'm very hurt by it. I'm literally about to black out. Can't breathe. And the rest of the group, they were like, "Why aren't you tapping out?" So they grab him and tear him off of me. Because I don't tap out. And he needed to get out, to get it out of him, whatever frustrations he had from, I don't know if it was from elementary school or just the generic, I hate this person type thing because everybody hates me. And, I lost my train of thought. I wanted to tell another part of the story. We had this Brazilian exchange student, and people back then had really good pot. Better than what you can get today. Properly cured and washed. Marijuana in Colorado's all salty and shit. It's terrible. But I'm 14 at the time, maybe 15. But I'm more intelligent than everybody in the entire town. Like, I taught myself calculus when I was 12 during a test. I had a few minutes to teach myself how to calculate a curve. And I scored the school record. I don't know, I was something like 2 points away from the state record. So marijuana for someone like me, it's not a gateway drug or anything bad. It's more like calm your fucking mind down. And so we would get someone and just do weird stuff. And there's this old video. I don't even know if he has it still or. But we're in his living room, in Joe's living room, and we are just fucking high off our asses. I'm eating a jar of cookies. I got just like a cookie jar in my arms and like I'm cradling a baby. And they're pretending to be Pokemon. I'm videotaping it. Bulbasaur, Bulbasaur, Charmander. They're just stomping around. And I set it down and set down the camera and I join them. And we're all just pretending like, like we're in the wild of a Pokemon game or something. And it's with the Brazilian exchange student. We did some really funny stuff with him. And Joe and me. And we're just in the house just doing weird shit like that. And we start battling like Pokemon. Good times. Those are some of the best moments. You get through all the bad ones so that you can make memories like that. They had a pretty big house, but they couldn't afford to keep it up. You know, like there was no paint on it, but beautiful inside. Wonderful wood floors, and we have a video too. His name was Bruno. Weird name, and there's a town called Bruno. I always found that really interesting and odd. And so they are jumping off the second story into snow piles. Crazy motherfuckers. And that makes me think of this other time, this kid named Justin. We made a pile of leaves. So he had a 1-story house, but it was, they had a really furnished basement. And his mother, too. She made the best fucking meatloaf I've ever had in my entire life. Just amazing. She wore these weird glasses, and they were so thick. Her eyes were like, boo! Such a sweet woman, too. And we had such great people back home. And she was a character. I love talking to her, too. But Justin and I kind of fell out of friendship because he snitched on some of us, and so I never talked to him again. But anyway, it's the fall, 14. At this time, I have this like gothic leather watch, wristband, stuff like that. Dyed hair. My hair is dyed black. It just looks so stupid. And so we made a pile of leaves and we were jumping off the house into the leaves. And it was all fine and dandy until he jumps. Because he was not a very smart person. He overshoots the fucking pile of leaves. Lands on his ass and just explodes in pain. And we thought you like gonna have nerve damage. Jumping over 10 feet high, like onto your butt, missed the whole pile. And we would laugh at all of our failures, but that was serious. When it was serious, then if you're okay, then we'll laugh after. But God, his mom made the best meatloaf. We had really good beef back then. Nebraskan beef before the Mexicans took over the packing house. It was really good. It was the best. Better than Colorado. had a real strong like iron flavor because it was just full of nutrients. But then the Mexicans took over, and the beef is like it's absolutely fucking disgusting. Any other funny stories? I got so many. We did so much stuff. One time I kicked myself in the forehead 96 times in a minute. I was trying to break a world record. So there was some sort of like pretend world record. I don't even know if it's real. But it's like, how many times can you kick yourself in the forehead? And I mean, actually, like whipping your leg up and kicking yourself in the forehead. I did it 96 times. I was 2 strikes away from getting the world record. We didn't even have a camera. Nobody would have recognized that I could do that. I'm standing in the parking lot of the Catholic Church, kicking myself in the forehead 96 times. And the record was like 98. I got so close. I was like, guys, I'm a little tired. Let's go. We did some dumbass shit. Stealing wheelchairs and just fucking around for a day like jackasses. Because Jackass was really big back then. And so we just fucked around with wheelchairs because we found them abandoned somewhere in town. I had a whole box too of memories with Eric, the guy that almost killed me, and this box of memories. Some of the funniest shit is like I don't remember all of it, but one time he was playing with a razor blade. I forget what he was doing, but it just exploded. Like it just fell apart and exploded. No idea how that happened. Uh, there was this dumpster for a window shop, so they would sell windows and do car repair too. It was a shop that they were kind of like what are they, all around men or whatever they're called, hobbymen. I don't know. All purpose men, whatever. They did various jobs, and so they had this dumpster. We would climb into it and just break glass. And this thing's like 8 fucking feet tall, big ass blue, and we would climb it. Eric and I would climb in there and just have a good time breaking glass. You know how dangerous that is? like, like we could have severed a tendon, gotten an infection. So I had this whole box of all these memories. Another funny one is when, so we're at my house. I don't even remember why, but I spray him with a fire extinguisher, and it creates this cloud. And if you know anything about fire extinguishers, it reduces oxygen content. So the cloud is like drifting in the wind, and he's trying to escape it, but he's running with the fucking cloud. It's just like I can't escape. I had to go grab him. To save his fucking life. He's like, what happened? I was like, you were running with the cloud. Just, another funny thing we did. Another funny thing we did, the whole Coca-Cola thing, but I wanted to turn it into a rocket. So we load it up, tighten it, and I throw it and it twists. But at that time, I was really good at like rotational uh, predictive prediction, and it lands on the head exact at the moment of pressure, max pressure, blows off the lid, and this thing just it was awesome. But it starts chasing him. It just happened to like hit on just a slight cant to where it comes after him. This bottle of Coke. It's just like, it's basically a rocket, right? And oh man, there were so many. I have like a whole box full of just memories. When I left town, I left him with him, and I asked him about him later, and he said he just threw him out. Like, this is the guy that they had this coal train car sitting on the railroad tracks, but it had like a diverting line, and like I would somehow get like alcohol or something. Or like 15 at this time. I would bring him up there and was just hang out and say, "Hey, let's go climb in that railroad car. I got some alcohol." And just have fun together and laugh. And what happened to him, that's right. Meth. Meth was big in our town. It fucked up so many people. I never touched it, not once. I was curious about what it looked like, but it changed him. He was never the same after. And that's why they used to call marijuana like a gateway drug. It's not. It's your choice. It just teaches you that you like an altered state of mind, so this other thing can offer that. But if you actually like marijuana, that's what you're going to choose. And so it was tough seeing him. Another ambulance? Sounds like a cop. It is, yeah. The sheriff. Over policing is coming. I can't even speak in a proper registry because of my mucus. There's a lot of sirens going off lately. They're never this active. At least anytime I've lived in Estes Park, which I'm here forever now, but I've never seen them this active. It's all these fucking people. They're all so stupid. You want to know why that 70 car pileup happened on the interstate? What are you saying? Another one? Hey, somebody actually is stopping for an emergency vehicle. That's rare to see anymore. I have never seen a green emergency vehicle that was like chameleon green. What the fuck? It was chameleon green. What would that even be? I've never I've never seen a vehicle with sirens that was lime green, chameleon green. People stopping for emergency vehicles, like it, you don't see people do that anymore. I always stop because you never really know. And so you just pull over, make sure that, roadways and stuff, everything's open, or you track them. There was the other day, the fire services were out, and I always plan how to like approach a road or a lane in between vehicles because I can vector like that. But there was one hauling, but he didn't have his lights on, and he's hauling ass, and I'm like, oh my god. I go right, like that. He turned his lights on right after. Actually, he realized, like, I would have waited, but he didn't have his lights on. I just thought it was a car traveling, and he was accelerating, and I didn't gauge his acceleration properly because I'm looking both ways, calculating how to, just get on the road to go home. And he turned them on, and so that if one car is going that way, most likely the next emergency vehicle is going the same place. And so you don't have to necessarily pull over for those. But I still do it anyway. What is going on? My golly. I'm calling a whole bunch. Training day, maybe? If there was something and I'm not in town, if something happened, I'm going to be really disappointed with myself. Something bad didn't happen. The reason is because I have, this weird superiority complex. I don't know what it is. There's no definition for it. There's no words for beating up every bully in school. You know, it's all description. And so I've trained so long. I've thought about becoming a fireman. In Nebraska, you have volunteer firemen. In Colorado, you actually go to a fucking school, an institute to train. God, this building resonates sound. Should I leave just to make sure that they don't need extra help? Because they're calling in forces right now. A lot of people. I doubt it's something that I can handle or not handle, or I'd be valueless. If there's, guess who's driving up and down with fucking trailers and dune buggies again? The assholes with pickup trucks. Cunts. Fucking everything up. Huh. People are not tailgating suddenly. Driving at an appropriate distance and leaving space to prepare to pass. It's weird. I have an old Jeep, so my braking distance, compared to what modern anti brake locking four-wheel disc brakes does in, your tire profile, it it's so much more efficient than my Jeep. So, like, you can tailgate me. That's why I don't get really mad about it. But you should at least be about 50 feet behind me because of your reflex capacity. Because you're an idiot. That's the truth. Like, you're not more capable than I am. All right. What was I? Whoa. I was telling stories. I was trying to think about, what could be going on if I need to go and offer assistance. It's uh, it's like that time that those kids were. There's a cambered road, beautiful road. I love that road, but we had an unnatural buildup of ice because of snow drifting, high winds, cold, and snow drifts, and it built up like an inch and a half of ice. And so these kids, they were taking this road and they slid off into and down into this section. So I stopped to help, and I gave them my chains for my car, and told them how to use them. So they were either stupid or just the circumstances were just really, really against everybody. And luckily, this guy in this truck, he stops and he halts traffic. And I tell him to go up there and slow down cars because it's a sweeping hill and then it curves around. And like, we need to slow down traffic. These kids could fucking die. Somebody could kill them. And I've run it through my head so many times now, and I know what I did was proper. And we're holding it down. We're just holding down until authorities arrive. I don't mean to do that when I say authorities. uh, like it's going on. Anyway, it's like people really started to realize just how bad it was, and I don't take control of a situation unless I have to. Like, it's very rare that I have to exert myself. And, you know, I didn't know how bad it was until I walked over to their vehicle. I was absolutely shocked. Because building up that much ice, let alone on an inclined plane, a cambered plane, or whatever, it's not normal. That sort of thing doesn't happen. And I know this because when I was kids with Eric, we tried to make the sidewalk thick with ice so that we could run and slide on it. All we did was kept melting the ice. So I told the officer before I left that luckily we were regulating traffic. That semi could fucking killed somebody. And it was carrying food for the grocery store. I don't know why they're taking that road, but like, luckily I did what I did because I've run the probabilities through my head, and like they're more substantial. It's more like a 65% chance that somebody would have died. And if they just took that road just a little wrong, there was only one safe patch based on the camber and the leveling, the peak, but it's a semi. And so, the mass, I told her, it was like, look at those snowdrifts. That's why there's so much ice there. Because it's so windy, it is flash freezing and building ice layers. There's over an inch and a half of ice by that car. And I warned those other dudes. They stopped. They were hunters. And they're young. They're like in their 20s, early 20s. And I warned them, like, you're probably not going to be able to drive out of this. They slid down. They actually had to drive through the fucking prairie lands and to get out. They brought a tow truck in. The tow truck almost slid down, and he was only able to not slide down because he was at that peak of the cambering, and that's the only reason he got traction. Otherwise, he would have been stuck too. And I'm trying to regulate this whole thing. I'm like, oh my god. And I go to that officer and I tell her that you need to get that semi moving right now, because that snowdrift, that is going to reduce your friction. And it could slide down and kill those kids. And she's like, I don't have jurisdiction. No, do it right now. Get on your radio. Tell that fucking officer. And she did. Immediately. It was serious. Like, I know it sounds dorky, but luckily I was there because I've studied physics so long that frictionless surfaces, that's like a standardized physics study. And the officers had no idea how to assess the situation. They were confused. And I've never seen that much ice, let alone on a camber turn. It's sunny out, blue skies, but the wind is blowing snow, and it's very thick crystal snow. The snowflakes are like dense, so they bond efficiently, but until they turn into ice and melt, then it reduces your friction coefficient. And so luckily that truck knew exactly where to drive. I watched it. I was like, please do not fuck up. Because he could have, one mistake would have killed 4 people. And we'll never know because nobody died. Maybe I did save 4 people's lives. We'll never know. That was hairy. Nasty stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna go listen to some music.